TV Blizzcon 2010.
You're done?
Welcome to the World of Warcraft Class Q&A panel.
How are you guys? I was hoping for a few more people, kind of a light turnout this morning. Must have been late last night. My name is Greg. I'm one of the lead designers of World of Warcraft. I'm a Libra. I like long walks on the beach, drinking gin, and nerfing paladins. I'm kidding. I love all you guys. You got it. Oh, it's awesome. I love Blizzcon. I think I've met every single one of you now, except maybe you. We'll meet after the show. So, I didn't bring a PowerPoint today. We have a little problem, which is that we are shipping very soon, and therefore you guys know just about everything about the game that we know at this point. The kimono is open. I think Metzen would say baby there. I'm not sure I can pull that off, but open kimono, baby. So we are going to make the whole rest of this thing Q&A, but it's going to be really good Q&A because I brought some very smart people with me. I kind of get a little bit of the spotlight for WoW class development, but of course I don't do it alone. We have a really big team. Basically everyone at Blizzard is a designer to some extent, but these guys up here are full-time designers. This is a good chunk of the systems design team. They're responsible for class design, items, trade skills, PvP, combat, just about anything in the game that has to do with numbers. So I think just about anything is open. Let me go through and introduce them real quickly and be nice to them. So we have here, lose my mic. This is Chris Searhut, Owen Landgren, Ian Hazakostas, and Chris Gleeke. And with that, I believe we are ready for questions.
Not necessarily Lord Godfrey, but okay, hunters. Aspect of the cheetah and aspect of the pack. It's been in the game for a long time now. This is somewhat of a credit to you guys. You've given all the other character classes wonderful tools where a lot of hunters now no longer feel it's necessary to have a gimp to a skill like this. We all feel it's, antediluvian. Remove it from the game, please. That way it would add more dynamic to the hunter class. Aspect of the pack could be used in other situations. Also, this is kind of a weird thing. It irritates a lot of hunters. Cooldowns. Why does the Glyph of Bestial Wrath not bring it to a perfect minute? You can't macro it into nice things. Glyph of Longevity. Make the cooldown extension to 50%. Done. Real simple stuff.
Yep. I'm not sure what the question was there.
Yeah, I know. That wasn't really a question.
The glyph things I could see. The reason why the aspect of cheetah and aspect of the pack aren't usable, or that they have the days, I guess what you're referencing, is just that if they didn't have the days, then you could just kite stuff all day long in PvE. So, and it's also used
you put mobs on leashes. You cannot kite stuff all day long. That is no longer true.
No.
And mobs you can kite, it's irrelevant. You could kill it anyway. Who cares?
I don't know. I think I'd be able to kite stuff and kill stuff solo as long as the boss doesn't hit me. Or as creatures don't hit you. I don't know.
I challenge you this. Remove it from the game and see what happens.
I think people would be very very sad.
He's good.
Off with a bang.
Thanks for taking our questions, guys. We all really appreciate it. I have a basic design question about all the classes. You know, we have 10 classes now, and I'm really wondering how you guys avoid over-homogenization into basically going from 10 classes, unique classes, to 4 classes, 4 roles. And can you just give us a little insight onto how you avoid that slippery slope of design?
I think one of the key details is they each have a different resource system, so that the way they interact with combat is completely different. A rogue's collecting combo points. A hunter has to worry about focus. The rogue's got energy. A mage has got mana. Arcane mage has to worry about how much mana he has. They all have different mechanics on how they use their resources, so that even if they do the same thing, they do it differently. And every time you pick up a new class, it feels completely different, even though we are basically doing the same job.
Thanks.
Hello. My question is for Mastery for Shadow Priest. Right now, it's a stat that most Shadow Priests either reforge or avoid if possible for PvE. For PvP, though, there are concerns that it's a bit too bursty by putting all of that stat into one spell that could be cast. So you could one-shot or two-shot people. What do you think of the current state of Mastery for Shadow Priests, and how do you balance between PvE viability and PvP burst?
So Mastery is one of those things that we really want to make you feel like your particular spec is awesome in its own unique way. And so, for example, Shadow Priests have sort of been known for being those incredibly bursty casters. And in PvE, we want to capture that vibe. We want to capture that just sort of explosion of awesome. And so, right now, it's probably not mathematically living up quite to what you expect on some of the other things. But that's one of those things that we're going to look at and say, okay, maybe we can add in other passive traits, but we don't want to jump the gun and just immediately start changing things wildly before people have got a chance to really play with it in the outdoor world and just see what it's like having that full gear set and changing your gameplay up like that.
And on Mastery in particular, like the balance on it, when we thought of the concept for it, we knew it was going to be very, very difficult to get the balance right. And you can be sure that we're going to be tweaking the numbers on it over time to get it right. Unfortunately, getting it perfectly right requires an enormous amount of data from the players. And we'll be looking at that.
Something we've been talking about damage is what we'll do is cut it in half basically, and part of the master will just be like all your dots, and then the other part of the master will be like the shadow orbs mechanic. So I definitely think there's like more polish we could do with like shadow orbs in general.
Okay, well, I guess I'm meant to be the one to start the Paladin talk. Well, tanks in general, your idea for Cataclysm was to move away from the 969 that every GCD has to be filled, and your way to do that was Grand Crusade. But currently the math is showing that Grand Crusade is one of the lowest DPS and TPS talents below Reckoning. And the problem is the Avenger's Shield will only fit in the slot of a Holy Wrath on single target rotations. Is there any plan to somehow change it, maybe have it proc Sacred Duty, so that it becomes a more interesting mechanic that doesn't only fill in one slot that we have to fill every GCD?
I think the mechanic in that case is